course, here we are for our final session, mentorship session for the semester. This is our last teaching week, and I'm happy. I'm more than happy. You have no idea that in this very final week we have another mentor, and not just any other mentor, but a female mentor, software engineer, to share her experience, speak to the topic, and then, share her journey in particular with us and give us the opportunity to also ask questions. And of course, particularly looking forward to be inspired. I get inspired myself. Yesterday's session, was it yesterday or a couple of days ago? I enjoyed that particular session because I could relate to a lot of things. I even had a personal question, that had to do with an instance where your Scrum Master or team, your manager is reassigning your tasks to another counterpart on your team. Do you have to be worried and all? But yeah, yes, as we already know, it's a male-dominated space. Nevertheless, we still have significant females who are doing marvelous things. Personally, it was a good experience encountering so many of these software engineers, females in particular, at the Microsoft ADC in Nigeria. So I was like, oh, okay, some women are stepping up. And so today we are fortunate to have one in our midst. She's going to take the floor, introduce herself, tell us a bit about her background, her journey, how she found herself in that space. And I'm pretty sure, as you always do, some of you relate to some of these experiences and journeys as they share them. And of course, after she has completed her presentation, you get the opportunity to ask her all the questions relevant to this program and, of course, your journey beyond the four walls of the university. Catherine, welcome to University of Ghana. We call ourselves the Premier University of Ghana, and you couldn't have joined us at any other better time than now as we commemorate our 75th anniversary. As a matter of fact, that was launched just a couple of days ago, I think, yes. So without further ado, this is my software engineering class. I'm a faculty with the Department of Computer Science, and Babatunde and Sefumi have been very instrumental helping me to reach out to you. And I'm happy you accepted the invitation to volunteer to mentor my students at today's session. And so without further ado, the floor is yours. We are all open to you, please. I hope you heard me though.
Yes, I did. Good morning, everybody. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. I guess.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, cool. Let me share my screen.
Oh, no.
Please, can you see my screen?
Yes, we can. We can see your screen.
Okay, perfect. So, thank you for having me. I was excited when I saw the mail that there's an opportunity to speak to students in the University of Ghana. That was cool. Okay, so my name is Fadamiro Catherine Folake. I'm a software engineer with Microsoft. I've been in Microsoft for like a year and like 2 months plus. So a brief introduction about myself. So I come from a family of three, two boys and one girl, and I'm also the last born. I know there's a gist that last born are special and we have everything given to us.
I know, right?
Yeah, yeah. Well, so my education. So basically when I finished from secondary school and I wanted to select my course, I actually wanted to be a doctor. But like after a conversation with my brother, because he was also in medical school, and he told me about the some of the challenges that I'm going to be facing. So I decided to go for computer science because I had an uncle then that was also like a lecturer in FUTA, and his field was computer science, cybersecurity to be exact. So that was what prompted me to study computer science. So during my studies, actually, I enjoyed some of the courses, especially the programming ones. I think the first one we did in 100 level was Visual Basic or so, and it was nice. It was pretty good. We had the manual because then like nobody had a personal laptop and like that. You have to go to the lab. Everybody, like every class at like a session, maybe it's in the morning or afternoon, you take your lab book and then you write some couple of codes. So and then for exam you'll be given like a question and then you'll be asked to solve it, and then you have a lab person come to check your program if it's running perfectly or not. So most of my colleagues then they actually just cram whatever is in the lab book, but I actually just enjoyed it. So I tried to like, I must get this thing, I must write it on my own. But that still didn't prompt me to, I wasn't even thinking of becoming a software engineer or like what I'm going to be is like a software engineer. So it wasn't in my mind at all. But during my final year, me and a couple of friends, um, we competed for Imagine Cup, which was like a Microsoft competition. And it was fun for me. I got to meet some people from other schools and I get to interact with them, see things, the beautiful things that they built, and it was a good experience for me. But still, that didn't really prompt me to still think about being a software engineer. Yeah, I loved coding. I loved everything about it, but it didn't. So, but like I was just opportune. Like when we went for the competition, I connected with some people. So it was after my youth service, which is this 1 year program whereby you would be posted um, to different places, and
Yeah.
then you get to like see the culture, relate with other people. It's just a way for them to mix people up in Nigeria. Oh, I forgot to
Oh,
add
okay.
that. Yeah, I'm based in Nigeria, Lagos, Lagos State to be exact. So
Okay.
yeah. So afterwards, and this couple of friends, one of them actually was lucky enough to land a job at Microsoft after his uni. So I has worked with them for a couple of a while. So he said that he wanted to start a startup which would build software solutions for schools generally. So he spoke to me about it, and I said, okay, something that I'm interested in. And then we got a couple of other people, and then we started. So that was my first experience like as a developer. So I was doing both front end and back end at the time because I was using the Microsoft framework, and so it has a way for you to using MVC. You have your CHTML, which is like a HTML and CSS, then you have the backend using C Sharp. So you could be a full stack with Microsoft, like C Sharp. You can be a full stack person. And I think they also have this new, and there's Xamarin, and they have this new .NET. I've forgotten the name that they introduced this year that also allows you to build for Android, build for iOS, and all those things. So with C Sharp, you could be all you want to be and be a full stack. So I wasn't doing like mobile at that point. I was just doing web. And then we built some couple of software. And then I decided to go for my master's. So I resigned and I did master's. I finished. Then I joined Infinity Technologies. That was my second job. It was a contract job. So we just the team was actually gathered together because we wanted to build a solution for the Federal Ministry of Technology. No, it's from Federal Ministry. I can't remember per se. So we gathered the team together. We built the app and then we gave it to them. I don't know if they're still using it or not, but that was my journey with Infinity Technologies. Then I moved to Lagos because Infinity Technology was in Abuja. So I stayed in Abuja for a while, which is to another state in Nigeria. Then I moved to Lagos. Lagos is like the hub, is a busy city. It never sleeps. Like if you want to be great, it's one of the places whereby you could just come and then not like depending on your background and everything. If you have the passion and you know where you're going to, at least you can make something of yourself. So after applying to lots of places, I got invited for an interview at Abzone Group, and then I got the job. So Abzone Group, basically, it's a fintech company. They are into disruption of the banking sector. One of the major projects that they had back then was that before, when you go to the bank, right, and you want to get your card, you fill some forms. They tell you to come back at a certain date, and then you get your card, your debit card, not credit card at the point. You get your card, and then you would activate it. So I think it's 7 days, I believe so, before. So what Abzone Group did was that they made it possible for you to go to the bank the same day, and you get like apply for a debit card, and then you get your card immediately. There might be like a queue, but you know that you're not coming the next day. You're going to get your card and you're going to activate it, and then you're going to use it. You can use it that day going forward. So I worked there for a while, and then I believed that I wanted something else, and then I brought out my CV again, dusted it, and applied for jobs again, and then I got the Polaris Bank job. So not that I really liked working at the bank, but it was a bit laid back because as a banker you have some dress code, you have the way you have to talk, you have the way you have to do certain things. So I was skeptical, like, I don't want to come here and then I'm being forced to be restricted. I have to dress in a certain way. I have to be at the office at a certain way. So but I was lucky enough, like they were building another team, which is like less restricted, and they wanted to build a digital bank at that point. So that was why that was where they were employing developers for. So I was employed, and we built the digital bank. It's called Vault. You can check it on Play Store, and also it has like a web application. So basically, during my phase at Abzone Group and Polaris Bank, I was mostly a backend engineer. I kind of preferred it, not that I didn't have the knowledge of HTML, CSS, and the likes, but I preferred the backend side of things. To like, I feel like front end is actually more difficult than back end because you have to know the button placement, the colors, how to make everything look not too like beautiful and clean and clear and all those things. But it was, but with backend, it's just for you have certain things you need to do, get data, send data, manipulate data, all those things. So, and then last year, on LinkedIn, someone contacted me about Microsoft. But before then, actually, I think I kind of gave it a shot when I was looking for another job at Polaris Bank. Like I applied to Microsoft, I did the stage, I got to the final stage, I was rejected. I was sad, but so when the recruiter reached out to me, that was last year, and said that, okay, are you interested? So I told him that, yeah, I'm interested, but I don't know, like I've done it before, I've done it before and like it was disappointing, but he encouraged me to try it again. There's no harm in trying, right? So it's better for you to try and maybe anything that happens rather than not trying and then you have regrets that, okay, maybe if I've done this certain things would have happened. So I decided to apply. I went through the process and to God be the glory, I got in. And here I am now. So that's a brief summary about me, my career, my journey, and myself. So today I'll be talking about software evolution and another topic which is dependable system. So to begin with, I don't know if we all did biology, but like we read about evolution, how like I remember then that they said we came from apes or something and we evolved to become like, and there's an evolution that took place and everything. So that's generally what evolution is, just a gradual change over time. Like, so there's also evolution in software development. So evolution simply means like it's a continual like development process based on frequent releases. So that's why you have like, for instance, you have versioning, and you know we all have a mobile app, we all use mobile apps, and then we see that sometimes we'll go to the app and they'll tell you to do an update that there's another version, or even with our phones ourselves, like operating system, iOS, Android, you see that we moved from, there were different evolutions. We had KitKat, and I can't remember how the flow, but you know that there's KitKat and there are all those things that it grew, it evolved over time. So why sorry, can you hear me very well? I didn't even ask you. Hello?
Just a moment. Let me address that
Please,
issue.
we
It
can
looks
hear
like
you.
somebody's microphone is on mute. We can hear you.
Okay, perfect. So so like I was saying, like evolution is like change, so and it's inevitable, right? And there are different reasons why your software changes with time. So for instance, we have new requirements emerge when software is used. Like for instance, now before, I think way back then, who knows if there was parental control and all those things. Like, but now maybe a software of 1990. I thought there'll be a software of 19. They will have scrapped it, but let's just use that use case. And then they're like, okay, well, we are releasing some content and we want it to have parental guidance. Like, so that's kind of like a new requirement. Or like you want a payment portal, like before, like 2020 or thereabouts, we had COVID, and then lots of companies, they had to build, like some that didn't have a software, they built the software, and then maybe later on they built, okay, we want a payment portal. So those are like new requirements that emerging that would bring about evolution of your software. So also then the business environment could change. For instance, maybe you were using your local, you had some couple of servers on ground, and then you want to maybe use AWS, you want to use Azure, that is like evolution. And then errors, like we have bugs in our system. I'm sure some of us, like we've gone to Play Store to complain about one error that is happening. Maybe there was certain thing that was working before in the software you were using, and then all of a sudden it's not working, and then you go and give it like 0 star or 1 star, and then you log your complaint, and someone will reach out to you, and then maybe if they like their customer service, they have like a penchant for working on your errors, they will resolve it, and then you see that, oh, they've actually fixed this thing. Maybe you go back to change your star to 5 star, who knows, and or you just compliment them on like, oh, um, this company managing this software, they actually listen to people's complaint. And then, like I said, new computers and equipment is added to the system. And then also you have performance and reliability of the system. Like you want to improve the performance, for instance, maybe it could be that a user complained, or as a company that owns the software yourself, you just feel like, okay, I want the performance to be faster. After going through the analysis and using some tools to see that, okay, how is the performance of my system? There are lots of tools like that. And then you want to improve the performance. It could be by adding, like, making your software, like improving the hardware or the hardware that you have, or if you're using cloud, doing vertical scaling, horizontal scaling. It could also be about the code that you wrote. Like maybe at that time you were not, you just started, maybe the people that started the software, they were just learning with the software. So they kind of wrote the code in a certain way, then maybe you want to improve on it. So those are the things too that lead to evolution and changes in your software. And then you have new features and functionalities. Now, take Netflix, for instance. Now, Netflix is like a streaming platform for, you get to watch videos, like everything. And I think recently they released a feature like you get to see just small clips of like funny moments. And then maybe if you keep looking at it, they would, if you click on it and you like it or something, you'll be redirected to the movie, then you could watch it. So that's like a new feature. They want more people to see clips like this, because we know, like on Instagram, for instance, now you get to see all this movie clip, and you're like, what movie is this? This is funny. Where did they get this clip from? So maybe that was what they saw or something that made them say, okay, let's add this feature. Who knows? Or it could be like you want to remove a feature based on your goal, because as a company,
Excuse me, Catherine, just a quick one. Guys, okay, I think her link has even dropped. Okay, so I'm going to mute everybody. It looks like some of you have been interrupting this meeting. I think Catherine's line just dropped. I'm sure she'll come back. I hope she is able to come back in just a bit. I hope she's able to come back. See. But some of you your mics were, I mean, please, when you join, be mindful of your microphones, okay? Mindful of your microphones. I think it was interrupting us. Okay, she's back.
Yeah, but
You're back.
let me just
join on my laptop because I'm currently connected with my phone.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So are you connecting with your laptop as well?
Okay. No, not at all. I was connected
Okay.
with my laptop initially, but you if you want to receive it. But we're fine now. I'm using
Okay.
my
All right.
laptop now.
Okay. Okay.
So
All right. All right.
so back to where I was. I hope like you heard me so far. Because I was on
Yes.
the last software changes, like new features and functionalities.
Yes. Yes.
So I should
Yes.
proceed.
Yes, please.
Okay, right. Okay. Okay, so so many things and manage changes. So that's what I feel one of the questions like software organization that have software, they think about, like they have a budget for it, they like maybe probably yearly they will just have some things they want to improve upon and everything, but all these things is something that has to, you can't just have it. Like for instance, Netflix now they have a software, they have a large customer base and everything. So if there's a change that they want to do, it's not something that would just, okay, let's just push it to prod and then let's see how it goes. No. So it's something that they have to think about painstakingly. They have to even consider that, okay, is this thing worth it or not? So next. So I'm going to use Facebook. I have some other just small pictures here and there. So we see that Facebook has evolved over the years. Like see the monthly active user as of 2017, you have 2 billion. They started from two. Sorry, I just got the one for 2017. I'm sure now that it has increased, like we're in 2022. So we see 2004, it was like not significant. And then you see the difference as time goes by. And as time goes by, you will also see that there are UI changes, there are additional functionality, they introduce more security measures. Like take WhatsApp, for instance, now. The two-factor is something that is recent. I can't remember what year they brought about two-factor due to security thing, but it's not something that started when they built WhatsApp. It's something that came about later on. You see the blue tick too, and there's also a functionality that you could click on a message and you see if the person has read it or not. Those are things that it didn't come with, you didn't build it with at the initial stage of the software. It's by evolving, by adding changes, modifying, adding additional features and the likes. So you see here now, like see the dashboard, see how it looks then, and then see how it looks now. And this is like 2017. I'm sure, I think it still looks a bit like this, but who knows? I haven't been on Facebook in a while, so that's why I said who knows, but I think it's still a lot like this. So so now I'm going to talk about the software growth phase. So like I said, there's initial development. Initial development is where you you gather your developers, you employ people, you create a team, you have your requirements, you've gathered your requirements, you set out how you want to do it. You've decided you want to use agile methods, para method, and all those project management things to ensure that you have your software, your solution ready for the customer, ready for alpha testing or beta testing. Both is actually good to do alpha and beta testing, but who knows? And so we have the evolution. The evolution is after initial thing, after pushing it out to the customer, then that is when you start changing things. It could be like maybe you carried out a survey. I know there are some companies like that. They'll do a survey of like to write some questionnaire, send it to their customer. What do you think? Do you think this app is doing well? Do you think this feature is needed? What other features do you want to see? Some companies are like that. They want their customer to have a say in what they're pushing out. So evolution takes place and everything. Now, servicing is at this point whereby they're not doing much evolving. They're just managing app. Maybe someone said that and one button is not working for him. It may be even because he hasn't updated his app in a long time. But like your app should always be like whatever you're pushing out, there should always be backward compatibility. So for instance, now you have a software that is calling a particular API, which is in version 1. And then maybe there was some things you did, you created another API. I think API, and then that one is version 2. Now, someone that is not really conscious of anything may say that may scrap the connection, like this may scrap the version 1 of that API, but that's not right because it should be backward compatibility. So it could be something like that, or so. Then phase out is like you're not doing anything. You're not working on the app or something. It could be maybe they want to create another application, or they are okay with whatever it is they have. And then next slide. So we have the evolution process. So like I said, evolution process is about change request. Like you want to make certain changes to your system. So we have change request, impact analysis. So impact analysis is like you want to make a change to something. You have to consider what is the best way to go about it. Is it required safe? Do we need to do this thing, or should we just not do it? So that's impact analysis. Then you want to decide how you want to like release it. For instance, we did that. If it's a multinational, you may decide that, okay, I want to push the change to a particular region. Maybe I want it to be in Nigeria alone. Let's see what will happen when people use this feature in Nigeria. And then maybe with that, you can now say that you want to push this to some African region, other African region. Or you could start with like US, there are lots of countries that you could start, lots of regions. So do you understand? So you start with, you decide how you want to release it. You decide the versioning. I know, we have a way of versioning a software. There's the major one, there's the minor one, there's the patch and everything. That's like another topic entirely. And then we have the change implementation and then the system release. So for change implementation, that's why we have the proposed changes. So this change implementation, I think is like divided, like this is the diagram that says the steps that is required, which is the proposed changes requirement analysis. So for instance, like I said, some companies will send some surveys out and say that people feel it. And then maybe from it, they say, oh, okay, we want to, the customer, lots of people said this, lots of people said this. Okay, let's talk about it. And then they'll gather requirements because the customer says something doesn't mean that it's something you could just do. It could even be that it's not possible with the way you structured your software or with the way you built the services. So you do the requirement analysis and everything. And if everything is set and stuff, then you do the development and then you proceed from there. So we have law of software evolution, Lehman's. So we have like, I think 1, 2, 3, 4. We have like 7 or so. So there's continual change. So what this means is like, which is what I've been emphasizing on, is that your software, like it's going to change. Even if it's just slight change, it's continual because it's related. You are trying to solve a problem. So it could even be like when you created the software, it solved a particular version of the problem, but with maybe changes and everything, it's no more solving the problem. So it's just different. It's just normal for your software to evolve. And then increasing complexity. Now, increasing complexity is constant. Like, for instance, like I said before, now I can't remember WhatsApp functionality. I can't remember when they started this blue tick of a thing. Like, it's just you send the message on WhatsApp and then the person replies you or whatever. But later on, they said they want to put complexity, they said they want to do this and that. And then if you try to look at the structure of that particular flow, you see that it has gotten more complex with additional things that they're adding. Before, it could be like simple, send message, receive message, bam. But now, like, you have like, if user did something, there are lots of if, and there are lots of parts where, like, looking at the way just the messaging part alone. I think I have a diagram in the slide, it should probably be the last one or so, that shows like just a little bit of the path. Then there's large program evolution. So program evolution is self-regulating process, like the time between, so the time between releases, the number of reported errors and everything. And then we have organization stability. Now, over a program's lifetime, the rate of development is approximate and constant, independent of resources devoted to the system development. So what this means is that the development is like is constant, like it will always be, you'll always be developing it. And then we have conservation of familiarity. That is one of the important things that we have to take note of. Like if you come back to Facebook, right, you see that even though some things changed, it's still a bit familiar. There's still the color, they're still maintaining the profile in a certain way, even though it's a bit smaller. So you have to make sure there's lots of familiarity. You don't just evolve it and then it doesn't even look like what customers are expecting. But imagine someone that stopped using Facebook maybe 2012 and then comes back to Facebook 2022 and he's seeing like another color or different things that is not what's this? But familiarity, so that he knows that, okay, oh, I can still use this platform. It's just that they just modified some certain things. So familiarity is also important. Then continual growth, like, because you want your users to be satisfied with your software. So continual growth, it doesn't mean that you're adding different, you just want user satisfaction, because when users are satisfied, they get to tell their friends that, oh, check out this app that I've been using it for so long. Like I'm sure that some of us, we have different banking, digital bank applications on our phones. We have one that we know that, oh, this one is, I like this one, it's reliable, it's not always crashing or anything like that. And then we get to recommend it to our friends, like, why not try this other thing when they're talking about certain things not working for them with the current software they are using. So decline quality. So decline quality is the quality of system will decline unless they are modified to reflect changes in the operational environment. So this is actually true. For instance, now there was a time that we were using To Go, and now I don't think there's lots of people that are using To Go again. So sometimes you have to, the quality of your system is dependent on the environment too. So you have to be taking note of the changes in your environment so that you can like add those, like improve on it so that it doesn't decline, and then you see that people are no longer using your software. So you have to, it's proportional. Changes in environment is proportional to how your software system will be accepted by people and used, like used by people. So because for instance, now we know, like, we have a normal banking apps whereby we get to, now I'm just going to say, this is the use case of Nigeria, right? So we have a normal banking app, and then we could do transfer and everything, but we don't have, like, there's the thing of virtual cards, which some of them are not doing. So you see people now that they're tending towards using all these new fintech application, Kuda Bank, Cheaper Cash, Bata, because that's okay, there's less charges, and then they allow you to pay for dollar, make dollar payments is easier. So those are the things that you have to take note of. And then feedback system, like I said, feedback evolution is, there's a feedback system that you have to treat urgently when you go through maybe your, for instance, Play Store. you see lots of feedback about your system, there's something you should always take account of. It's not everything that you're going to implement. It's not everything that you're going to even give more than a passing thought to, but at least read the feedback and then see if it's something that fits into your own business model, because every business has a business model. They have their target customer and they have what they want to do. I think it's just recently that Instagram started the political, having people do political content or something thereabout. So depending on whatever feedback people are giving you, you also have to check it with your model and see if it's something that flows properly. And if it's not, you change it. So this is just like a summary. Software evolution is derived from two major processes: software maintenance and software changes. I think we've spoken about changes a lot. Maintenance is less. Some maintenance also has to do with evolution. You're maintaining your software, you're adding more things to make you have more customers and all those things. So one thing that we should always take note of is that when you're building your software, building in a way that is easy for you to evolve your software. So one of the ways, like, because before I won't say the age or time because I don't know that. I know there was a time whereby we had monolith softwares. When monolith is like everything is together. It's like a big chunk of software that is running. The back end is connected to the front. It's just the same code and everything, and it's messy. But now, there's the microservices that you have different services running like on their own separately, so that when one thing fails, some the others are still working perfectly. Or if you want to modify, you want to make a change to something, at least you can start from just this little. Okay, if I'm working on this service, if let me see what will happen if I make this change in the service, what happens. So just when you're building your software, design it in such a way that evolution is something that can happen without stressing everybody. Because yes, when you're doing the evolution too, or when you're making changes to your software, if the people that are making those changes are the people that worked on the software initially, it's easy, but sometimes it's not even easy, because as a developer, sometimes like you write a code last year and then this year you're looking at it and you don't even understand what you're writing, or you're even wondering like, why did I write this in this way? Like, what is going on? What was I thinking? Do you understand? So you have to design it and also make it like ensure that those people developing are developing in a way that, okay, if anything happens to me and I'm not here again, someone else will come and will be able to do the changes or add new features without having a headache and not sleeping for like 1 week, 2 weeks, because they want to just add a button and then everything has scattered. So I was just talking about the software processes depending on actually. So the type of software being maintained, the development process, like I said, and then the skills and experience of the people involved. So that is some things that make software evolution easy, or it makes it very hard. So I said it before that WhatsApp notification, we have send a message, receive message. But you see now that you send a message, you acknowledge it. Then the third one, another person sent a message, acknowledge it. Then there's the other line, 6.A, there's 5, there's 6B. I'm sure before when they started this thing, it could just be like the arrow 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Right. But now they have lots of arrows. And I'm sure that this image that I have here is not given like a perfect description of how like the flow is right now. So it has evolved over time. So also I got some pictures of Instagram evolution. So it's just physical. Sometimes the evolution doesn't have to be physical in alone, right? It could be about the features that they added. It could be about the number of users that they've had. Like imagine the graph we saw earlier, whereby we saw that at 2004 it was nothing, and then 2017 we have like 2 billion or more users. So evolution is not specific to, oh, it's physical, it's this. It could be like as simple as them changing the logo. It could be as simple as removing a button, adding a feature, 20 or 20. It could even be something as simple as, oh, when I'm loading this page before, it takes like 2 seconds, but now it's like less than a second. It's evolution. So we see that 2011, we see how the UI looks. We see 2014, we see 2016. Well, I would think that the US still looks a bit like 2016, although there are some other things that they have now, like Reels. Reels is something that came about recently, IGTV, Real, live, I don't know what they call this thing, that is live something something for Instagram. So those are like evolution. That's like your software changing with time, improving. While you see some software like the evolution that they have is negative. Like it's not improving with time. It's just the quality and everything is just going down, and then they're losing more customers to competitors that they've seen the market and they've seen that, okay, this is what customers are doing, and then they're doing it. So that's about it for software evolution. It's a lot of topic and everything, but basically it's just evolution, that it's evolving, it's modifying, changing, and then becoming better or becoming worse, either way. So then we have dependable system. So dependable system, basically, what does dependable mean? Dependable is we all have that friend that we go to when things are happening, and we know that they will always be there for us because they are dependable. I have relationship problem, I can go and meet the person. I have money issues, I can go and meet this person. Like, you know that sure for you, they would come through for you. So it's dependable, like you trust them for certain things. It could be just one person for everything, anything you have, or it could be like, okay, this person is good for money, this person is good for relationship advice, this person is good for, I don't know, anything. You want to go for party, you know that this one is sure. You want to have fun. I have this friend that is dependable. He knows places whereby we could go and have fun. So that is what dependable means. And we all want a system that is dependable. Like, you don't want to be using one software today, like, and then tomorrow it's just messing up. Like, you find you go to Play Store and complain that this. I'm sure a lot of us, we've done that. We've gone to Play Store and gone to complain. I think there was this application that I use, any books. So I've not gone to complain about it because I don't even think they're functioning anymore. So before, it was free version, and then people were using it for reading any books, can get novels and the likes, and not just novels alone, motivational books and the likes. And then they came up with this model of you pay for once in a lifetime, I think. And then after payment, I think maybe uh is it some months afterwards, the app stopped working. I was just pissed off. Even till now, I'm still wondering when they're going to come back. It's not dependable. Like, they collected money from people, and you will feel like after collecting the money, hey, it's a sure thing, and then they're nowhere to be found. It's not working. It keeps complaining, throwing up one error or the other. So that's not what we want. So dependable system is like, it's dependable, it's trustworthy. Like, anytime you're using this system to do a particular thing, you know it comes through for you. In that respect, because there are some systems that, or software that they're dependable for certain things, but for other things they are not. Which is what when I explain the friends thing, like, you have a friend that when you go to him for, or him or her for relationship advice, they give you the best advice. While you have another one whereby, when you go to that person again for maybe money issues or something, they are not where to be found. So what is dependability of a system? Again, is trustworthiness of the system, is the user's degree of trust in the system, is the fact that you have the system and you can tell somebody else that use the system, right? You'll be able to achieve what you want to achieve. It's like saying you want to build a content, you're a content creator, and then you have this system that is working for you. And if someone comes to meet you and say that, okay, I'm using this and it's not working, and you can trust that I've been using this thing for a long time and it doesn't give me issue. I'm able to create my content, push it out there, and it's on point. So one of the questions is that will it operate as expected in normal use, or will it fail? Now, I think they released the House of I can't remember specifically, Game of Thrones fans, please don't come from me. But like, according to the news,
they know we know what you're talking about.
According to what I heard, when they released the system crashed because of lots of people that are on it. But that was just the first time.
That's news.
Yes, it crashed. It crashed. But like, it's not something that happens on a regular basis. Like, people know that, oh, okay, this system crashed because there are lots of people that they didn't expect that will be connecting and wanting to stream from it. Just that it's not in a case of every time your system is crashing, every time, even if there are just 1,000 people using it, it's crashing. So that's not a dependable system. And then dependable system is also like, even when it crashes, there's a fault tolerance that is going to make sure that this service is available within a good, like, I won't say times, I can't say 1 second, 2 seconds or something. Depends on the fault tolerance that they have or that they've set up for their system. So dependability covers the related system attributes because they are related. Reliable. Is it reliable? Is it available all the time? And is it secured? Right? Like, for instance, a banking app now, you have to be sure that you're not using any banking app, because what happens if they get your data and then they take that small money that you have in your account that you're still trying to add more to, and then you realize that someone has hacked the system. So it has to be secured. So it's not only about using information that you put online itself can be used to hack your system. So you have to be careful of the system that you're using and ensure that it's secured. So those are the 3 things that has to do with dependability. It has to be reliable, available, and secured. Now, an undependable system may have the following consequences. User one thing. You use something for the first time working. You use it, okay, it's still doubt. You use it again, it's not working. You use it the third time, it's not working. Even there are some that after the first time, they're saying, I'm not using this thing again, but some will still say, okay, let's use it. But when you start using, like, and it still keeps throwing up one error or the other, I'm not doing certain things, you just like the sky and then another alternative. But also it makes a lot of physical damage, which is corrupt data and the likes. And then there's economic cost of losses. So when the software fails as a company, sometimes you have to spend millions to recover it. Like, because it could be different, it could be physical damage, it could be economic losses. You see that before we had cloud and cloud was out there, people were using like on-premise servers and everything to power their software and the likes.
Yeah.
But with cloud, this thing now, you see some of them trying using cloud options, because if anything happens to those data center, like, to recover it's a lot. So now, that's one of the things that they consider, and then they're going to use the cloud version of things, because it's even easy for you to scale either horizontally or vertically, and then you're fine. So then we have causes of system failure, which is hardware failure. Yes, like I said, maybe you have a data center somewhere, there's no light there. And then maybe the gen, there is no for diesel is bad and all those things. So those are the things. Please give me a second.
Okay. think the things she's making reference to with the cloud, most of us can relate to. I think we had one of the past mentors emphasizing on, in fact, that was his actual field, the cloud engineer. I think there was one of you who even asked a question whether it was okay to build a back end from the cloud and then point your APIs to your front ends exclusive of the cloud. I don't know whether there's anyone who remembers there was a question like that. If you remember, just use the reaction button to let me know. You remember?
Okay.
Okay, you're back. All right.
Yeah, I'm back. I'm sorry. I had
No problem.
I had to. Okay, so I was talking about system failure. I spoke about hardware failure, software failure too, and then operational failure. So then we have principal properties of dependability. So I think I've spoken about availability, reliability, and dependability. Oh, it was security that I spoke about, but this one even highlights more of it. We have availability, safety. So now safety and security. Safety is that it can operate without catastrophic failure. For instance, maybe if there's a DOS attack or something, it can still operate. Maybe something happens, maybe it took a while, but they're back. And then security is like your data is secured, it's protected against cyber attacks and all those things. And then resilience, which is that it can recover from damaging events. It could take a while, but at least you know that it's going to recover. And then other properties of software dependability are repairability, meaning that it's easy for you to repair. It's not like someone that you built a software and then for you to fix like maybe the message, you have to start looking around because one developer did something somewhere or you understand that can be really not so good when like you just want to fix a certain thing in the legacy software and like you don't even know where to start from. You're like, oh my God. So we have to make sure that dependability is about repair. Like you can go and maintain it, you can go and repair it and it won't crash the whole system, survivability, and then error tolerance. So those are the principal properties of dependability. Then steps to achieve dependability. Now, avoid the introduction of accidental errors when developing the system. Like some people now, like you use your try catch. Try catch is a way for you to say that if certain thing happen, it's going to do certain thing. It's a programming thing, but it's just a try catch. Like saying that if this thing happen, if something that you said is meant to happen in a certain block of code is not happening, it should do this. Now, some people use that also to mitigate your system failing or something. Then in-depth software testing is really important for you to ensure that you test your software very well. You do alpha and beta testing, you do integration tests, unit tests, all those things is very important. It gives you a breathing space that when you deploy to production or when you push this thing, yeah, you're confident a bit, like not that nothing will happen, no, but you're confident a bit that if anything is going to happen, no, it won't be as much as when you don't test at all. Because when you don't test at all, even a simple thing of a user typing something that you don't like, maybe you have a box that you're collecting names, right? And then you're expecting like maybe Tope and Fagboyegun or something. And then someone put Tope alone, and then you're splitting this thing. It could cause like throw up an error. And if you don't manage this thing very well, your system has crashed. And then the user are coming to complain on Play Store that this system is not working and what is happening. So in-depth testing, then you have to design your system to be fault tolerant. And remember, I said something that you have to make sure that your system, you design in the way that evolution is good to happen, like it's easy for you to evolve, and also it should be fault tolerant so that in any case of anything happens, there's a way for your system to recover. Even sometimes, I think these days now, there's a way for you to put logs in your system, even when it's working or it's not working. And then you have some people who take that data and look through it to see what kind of things is happening, how to ensure that certain things are not happening. Do you understand? So that is also a part of fault tolerance, because at least you can go to the logs and see what is happening for people. Then you design protection mechanism that guard against external attacks. Then configure your system correctly for its operating environment. If you know your system is doing Android, then ensure that you configure it for Android properly. Ensure you configure it for iOS. Ensure you configure it for Mac, for Windows. Configure it properly so that at least that will reduce the headache that you're going to have when people start using this thing. Because nobody wants to be under pressure. Nobody wants to be like having a lot of workload on their head because certain thing did not happen in a certain way. So you want to mitigate, you want to reduce the pressure you're going to have when customers start using this service so that you're enjoying yourself. You can move to another thing. You're not like the code is is everything you're doing. And with that said, you can jump to another project, go and do some other things, and you know that it's in safe hands. Then include system capability to recognize and resist cyber attacks. Like I said, try to ensure that you use secure SSL and the likes. Ensure that your password is not out there. You're using a keyboard or whatever it is to protect your keys and all those things. Ensure that if someone is typing different things and your boxes and they want to use it to query against the database, you're mitigating that. Those are the things that also helps to reduce the failure and to make your system more dependable. Do you understand? And then also, like, you're putting it that if certain user does certain thing, they get the message. Like, I don't know what form I was filling, and I submitted and I was wondering what is going on. Like, they didn't give me anything that there was something wrong with my the data I filled and all those things. That's not proper. Like, as you're entering your data, you should be saying if there's an issue or not. So those are some of these things that you can also incorporate, and the recovery mechanism to help restore normal system service after failure, which is like a fault tolerance thing. So dependability costs tend to increase exponentially. You know what it means. Like, as you have your software is evolving. You can see now that even with software evolving, there's also dependability, because as your software is evolving, then you had more additional features, additional logic and code is becoming more complex. So now you now have to, the cost of your dependability would increase, because you have to now use add like your hardware. You meant to ensure that your the hardwares or the clouds service you're using, it's standard. You have to increase your testing. There's automation testing, write that, do system validation. So with that said, it could be that you have to expand your team to have more people to do this thing, automated tests, all other things, to ensure that your system is dependable, because it's very important for our system to be dependable. Like, none of us want to have, in our circle of friends, you have millions of friends and not one person is dependable. You don't have someone that you can depend on for anything. So the same thing with, because these softwares around, they are helping us to do a certain thing. Either it's alt software, it is management software, it is content creating software, it is banking software. It has to be dependable. So dependability is quite very important. And that ends my presentation. I don't know if we have lots of questions, but at this time we'll be taking questions.
Yes, Catherine. Yes. In fact, you've done due diligence to the last bit of the course section, and I'm sure there's a lot of things they can relate to when it comes to dependability. I mean, the term in itself speaks for itself. I mean, if something is not dependable. But I mean, there was one thing I was wondering: how many students comment about an app if they find it useless? Excuse me to use those words on Play Store or App Store. How many of you have commented, reported, sent an email to? Should use the reaction button and let me see. How many of you? How many of you have been doing that? I'm guessing it will just be a handful. Oh, okay. But that's just still a handful. Oh, Tracy, you have. Uh-huh. I see. But that's just a handful of you. But okay. I'm still taking the numbers. But the point is, oh, you have severally. I'm assuming you've been doing so. So clearly you attest to the fact that some of these apps have issues. Well, I only hope the applications you are developing for your clients will be accepted and they'll consider them dependable, because some of you may as well get your first um, backlash from your clients. You don't expect them to be happy entirely, but it's all part of the learning process. So I mean, personally, I can relate with a lot of it. I hope they also have. Um, questions may span beyond this presentation, I can assure you. I think maybe I'll be the first to ask my question. You know, as you indicated, pretty much just about a year and a half or so, under 2 years since you joined Microsoft. In fact, I think if I'm not mistaken, of all the mentors we've encountered, probably aside from the first person, Kenny, who we met, you might have been the youngest person. So your experience and how you even landed the opportunity, how you survived a male-dominated space in your class. I'm guessing that the female were in the minority, and you landed your role with Microsoft. I mean, that was very, very inspiring, particularly how you survived the male-dominated space. I mean, the youngest of two boys. Two senior siblings, and rubbing shoulders. I mean, yesterday I was having a conversation with my students, quite the larger portion of them. I'm a course advisor as well, so that was like over 900 to 1,000 students, and I was asking them why most of the time when they're working in teams, most of these females want to settle for documentation, etc. However, per the admission statistics, they literally matched up with these boys during their SHS days, and they all passed and passed. Some of the ladies even did better, and yet they came to the same university, sat in the same class, and just about 2 years on, it looks as if these ladies have quelled back. What's happening to them? How did you survive this whole journey to get to where you are? I guess this will be my first question, but guys, you can start raising your hands. You can also indicate your questions in the chat section. Please, I would love to hear from more of the ladies, please. This time around, I know you are few, but I want to hear from more of you this time around. So please let your questions flow. So, Patrick, this is from my end. Sorry, I'm not asking question about your dependability. I mean, presentation, probably because it's my topic and I've already thought it, and I'm pretty sure most of them can easily relate to that. But if you have any questions relevant to the topics you just discussed as well, please feel free to put them out there. All right. So I guess you take my question first.
Okay, so your question is like, how have I survived?
Yes, what has been your experience? Yes, survived. I mean, you're a survivor. There's no backing down now at this point. So how did you not feel intimidated? I mean, some of the ladies are here. You told me in your own words, you typed them out on that Telegram page. Sometimes you are intimidated, etc., etc. Of course, some guys eventually came out to say that it's not only the ladies, so we are also here. It's just that we are many, so we don't get noticed. But yeah, a bit about that, if you can share. I don't know.
Well, I think what helped me first would be like my parents. They brought me up and they were like, looking at them, they kind of inspired me a lot. And also the fact that I had elder brothers. So it was easy for me to, I started flowing with like male, like I flow more with them than my female counterparts. I would say that I'm even more intimidated by my female counterpart. But what really helped me was that even when I feel intimidated by, maybe I feel intimidated by what this person is doing, I try to just talk to the person. If I can, try to also be able to like have that, maybe it's a skill that that person is doing, I'll go and learn it too, so that I feel less intimidated. And I've been lucky enough to have people around me that don't make me feel intimidated. So what they really do is that I don't feel it. I feel I'm a bit competitive. So I don't feel intimidated in sense of then I'm like, okay, I'm intimidated, I'm not going to do things. And I want to compete with you. Like, I mean, I want that thing that isn't to intimidate me. I must learn it. I must know it. That also helped me. So I don't think I have much story about intimidation. I don't feel it so much.
I see. Interesting. I'll reserve quite a number of my questions to maybe later. Let me give chance to
I guess
Simons.
I've been lucky, or maybe I don't see it as intimidation. I see it as something else.
Well, that is what they are telling me here. Maybe I have to organize a poll, because yesterday they practically told me they have been intimidated by their male counterparts. Anyway, I mean, Simon, you put your question across and let's see.
All right, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Can we see your face? Is it possible?
Okay, sir. Please, my questions is I have 3 questions, and these
Okay.
questions are based on the availability of systems. Okay, I'm going to cut across some companies. The first one is the dependability depends on the availability of components in addition to the software and things. So I want to know, currently, Ukraine is a high producer, almost half of neon, which is used in microchips in computers and things. In the coming years, is there anything like, would there be a situation whereby this shortage is going to affect the complexity of software for reliability in the future? Then, can I continue with the questions?
Yes, you bring them. We are noting them down.
Okay, all right. So the second one too is about Yahoo. The failure of Yahoo was, aside the data breaches and things, was due to because there were no customer focus and things. They couldn't evolve over time. Is it because of how they develop their system that makes them to, not to be able to evolve and led to their downfall? Okay, that's my second question. Then the third one, this is about Microsoft itself. Yeah, Madam Catherine, your office. In 2021, Microsoft Azure Cloud suffered some outage due to some routine rotational changes in security directories and things. So I want to know, a company of this kind, taking reliability into consideration, what should this routine situation lead to the company? And the last one too is,
wow, I hope she's noting all of them down because I'm losing track already.
thank you very much.
I'm losing track of the question.
No, we didn't get the last one. We didn't catch the last one. I didn't
get the last one and the first two.
Oh, okay, Madam Catherine, I want you to share your experience, your challenges in tech as a woman to our ladies.
Is that your first question?
That's the last question. Are you talking about the first question?
Okay,
yeah.
Okay. So she didn't get the first and the second question.
Okay, my first question is about Neon. Okay, as a component of microprocessor, and when we're talking about dependability and reliability, span across network, components and software. So they work hand in hand. So in the future, Ukraine as a producer for half of this product needed in the manufacturing of this, there will be a shortage in the future. And software too is evolving, bringing about complexity. We need high processors in this way. So is it going to have any impact on software evolution? That's my first question.
Okay. Okay, so to begin with, yes, components and software evolution, they work hand in hand. But I'm sure that you said there's a shortage, right? So it may necessarily not affect it if they are prepared, if they have another alternative, right? Or they are working towards something else, because you said,
yeah, they produce about half. And if we should be shorting half from now to, let me say, in 10 years' time, is it going to affect our software evolution, since this system will be complex and we will need high speed and things?
I can't speak to that too much because I don't know about the hardware trends and everything, but I'm sure it's not going to affect it. Like, I'm sure that they have like a pipeline or roadmap to how to handle this event that is this whatever this reduction that is happening. Like, for instance, now few, let's say 10-20 years ago, like robots, AI, all those things, they were not really as out there as it is now. So it's growing, everything is growing, different things are developing. They may even find like another, they have some other thing that they can use as a something to use rather than using the neons or something. So you never can tell, honestly. Like, technology is growing, like there's a growth everywhere. So you can't tell what will happen in 10 years' time. And then your second question, I think you spoke about Yahoo, that why is it that I think they have less people? I don't work with Yahoo, but I would say I've not seen their code base. I've not seen I've not read about their system, the way they did their architecture or anything like that. But there are lots of things that would. One of the thing I know for sure is that they were not taking account of their environment very well. Like, they were not looking at their competitors and then maybe trying to add some more things or this thing. So someone just came and took the market from them and they were sleeping. I don't know if it's going to be about the way they developed their software or the way they marketed it or something, but all we know is that Yahoo has less customers. They didn't, when the changes were coming, they were not. It's like is it Nokia? Yes, Nokia. When people were create like releasing Android phones, mobile phones that Nokia was sitting down. We don't know what they were doing. We don't know what their business model was, but it didn't work for them at that point, and they lost the market, the half of the market share, and they're still struggling. So also, like, evolution also has to do with, like, I think I said it then too. It's related to your environment, taking note of what is happening in your environment. If you are solving a solution today, it may not. There may be growth. There will be growth that may say that software won't solve that solution 100% or something. So you have to be looking at it and be seeing what you want to evolve, what you want to reduce, what you want to mitigate, or lots of things. And then you said my challenges as a software engineer. So yes, I do have some challenges. Okay, so when I started then, I think I had challenges with I'm trying to think very deeply before I say what my challenges. So sometimes I found it difficult to comprehend like what was required of me. So because it was a bit abstract sometimes, like this thing is abstract in my mind. How do I do it? So I just So what I mostly do is that if I don't understand certain things, I have some friends that I would call, and then I started reading more, read some blogs, some article, read some architecture book and everything. And yeah, sometimes it's talking, like our challenges with just talking, like when we are like my team, I may be scared of raising my hand to say something because it's not about this thing. Like in any gathering, it doesn't have to do with, I'm just a shy person, so I found it difficult to raise my hand up and say something or say that. It was challenging for me, but uh, uh I just started small, like just saying some certain thing, and then I try to reiterate what I want to say in my mind. I reiterate in my mind like once, 2 times. Okay, I want to say this thing. I'm going to refine it in my mind, refine it in my head. And then sometimes I actually do say something. I'll just, okay, I want to ask a stupid question. So, but in the end, it may not be a stupid question. I just say that sometimes, but I stop. But that helped me initially. So, and also, I think I found it challenging, um, trying to decide on what to do. Like if I'm given a task now, I'm still trying to see, should I go this way or should I go that way, or should I use this language or should I use that language? So what helped me was that I I may do both. I might go through like the two, like if I'm meant to solve something, I'll do the two thing and see that okay, which one is faster or this. Then also we have like, or like for instance, if you're stuck somewhere, there's Stack Overflow. Stack Overflow has been very, very helpful for me. Like there's, I don't think there's any question that you check on Stack. It's rare, not, yeah, you will find, right, you won't find, but it's rare for you to, as a programmer that is starting, or yeah, at one level, there's hardly any question that you have or any issue that you have that if you go to Stack Overflow, you see someone say something about it, or even if the you don't like the answer they have, they're going to explain it in a certain way that you know that okay, let me do it this way. So that has also helped. So like, and for me to use Stack Overflow efficiently, I had to learn how to ask question or how to Google things. Like Google helps a lot, like learning how to ask your questions and getting your answers.
I have students who don't want to hear the word Google or go to YouTube for anything.
Oh, there's also YouTube. Yes, thank you for reminding me. There are lots these days. Like, well, for instance, when I was studying data structure and analysis, because then like for you to get into some of these international fintech companies, you have to write code tests, you have to do data structure analysis. I found that very difficult, honestly. So what I did was then I used to solve one question every day on either Rank or Lit Code. Now, if I don't have a solution to it, I'll go to YouTube or I'll check. I'll just browse it and start moving from one site to another to see how it's being done. So that kind of actually helped me too. So that was one of the things I found challenging, because before I the Microsoft before I got the Microsoft job, like you have to do coding, you have to do architecture and all those things. So it helped me. One of the things that helped me was that um, every day solving a particular question. It actually helped me.
Wow, you just answered one of my questions right there. So yes, so you probably, so you guys are hearing. I don't know how many of you have been taking some technical challenges like coding challenges on Let's Code, Code Signal, and any of these platforms. How many of you have been doing that? Use the thumbs up. Don't raise your hand. Use the thumbs up so that it will automatically vanish. I just want to know how many of you have been doing that. How many of you have done that so far, at least in these 2 years of your journey? Okay, okay. I guess you have begun to see the gaps you need to fill. you need to keep pushing because you can't escape a technical interview and where you will have to take a coding challenge before you can land some of these jobs. It's not a walk in the park. and yeah, there's something she mentioned, data structures is no joke to some extent. And um I think yesterday one of the comments I received from some of the students was the fact that if they had to go to YouTube or Coursera to take on extra courses and topics to get clarity, then what was the whole point in paying to come to the university to study for a degree? I don't know your opinion about this, but here we go. You took up the challenge, never felt intimidated, was ready to always compete with your colleagues in school, and yet you still had to spend some time to fill in some gaps from YouTube and take some of these coding challenges to land your position in Microsoft. I mean, what would be your advice for students who feel, well, this is how it's supposed to be? Come to the lecture room and school us and stop telling us to go to YouTube, Google, etc. I just want to take your mind on this, Catherine, from your own experience, and then we'll go to continue the questions.
Okay, from my experience, yes, you're going to school, you should learn everything, but you can never learn it. You can't learn everything in school. The lecturer doesn't know everything. And your lecturer doesn't know, like there's some lecturers that don't even know, okay, they may know like some code, this or that, but they don't know everything. So, and if you want to be the best at something, you have to do your research. You have to be the best. Yeah, you may even want to be better than himself, so that you go to class and you pick your marker something and you be lecturing. But okay, my take is that yes, there are certain things you will learn in school, but you just have to go out there and then learn other things. It may even be like the way they taught you in school may actually even be other than what you see online. Like I don't know, there's dynamic programming, right? They taught us in school. How they taught me, I still don't understand. Like I don't understand it, but I don't know. There was a book I read recently that like I've started to know how to, like, if I pick a question, I know that, okay, I can use dynamic programming for this thing. I know there's a bottom approach, there's a bottom top to top approach, there's a top down approach, there's a bottom up approach. Like all those things, it's not everything they'll teach you in school. So yes, there's school, there's also you wanting to be the best. And if you want to be the best, you don't want to be intimidated. You want to even be the one intimidating people. Please use YouTube, use Coursera, do anything that you can do if you have the time.
Yes, thank you for that endorsement. Interested. Well, I guess some of them have gotten the answers, but I'm going to skip to the third person whose hand is up because we have our first lady, Amma Brampa. Please, just unmute. Thomas and Jilma Abednego, you get opportunity. You are males. Relax. Let me use my authority here to be biased a little, just a little. Amma, what is your question? What question do you have for Catherine?
Okay, so I actually enjoyed your presentation on the software dependability, but I actually have a question from the beginning where you said you actually wanted to be a doctor, but then along the way, talking to your brother, you decided to go into computer science. I personally find myself in a similar situation, so I want to know what actually motivated you and how like you finally decided to specialize in a particular area and how it all fell into place.
Okay, so yes, so when I had that conversation with my brother, I did like so what he said was that okay, as a doctor, your time is not your own. You can't look nice. I don't know. Then he said maybe then there was no wig or something. Sometimes you don't make your hair for this thing. Then he said something about blood and all those things. So I was like, this is not me. So now back to after then, like I said, I had an uncle. He was doing well. He's a lecturer in FUTA and is in the computer science department. So and then before then, I actually used to we had a desktop in my house. So I used to do some small things like that, like play games, type for that, do some PowerPoint presentation. And I think there was a point when there was doing is it Dream? I can't remember. Dream something to build like a website and the like. So I've kind of dabbled into all this things small, small. So after having that conversation with my brother, I just made up my mind that okay, let me go for computer science. I picked computer science and also said, okay, I'll do microbiology. But to God be the glory, I wasn't accepted to the other school. So I went for computer science. So I found programming very interesting. It's challenging because sometimes you'll be wondering, like, even for you to do all this formula, you want to quadratic formula, for instance. That's one of the I remember that's one of the questions that they asked us when we started there, like write this for your tests or something like that. And I remember then I don't want to cram, I don't want to do, there's something we call a cram lapel. I don't know if you do that over there, but
Oh,
you cram
yes. Oh,
everything.
they are so familiar with this. Oh, they are experts. In fact, they keep telling me that I got comments from students like if this Mampa had just stuck to the textbook and was going to ask questions from these things. Oh, goodness me. Some ladies told me they would have showed me different levels. But then again, I've practicalized everything. And I'm leveraging on their experience on what they have read to assess them. And that is not making life easy for them. Oh, I'm telling you, before they crossed the SHS border, they were experts, most of them. If you give them an inch, they will take a yard.
So I didn't want to be like some of them, I knew them, it's just like Cramla Paul. Me, like if I see like, okay, I've read the book, I know how it is, but I want to see that if there's another way for me to do it. Because for coding, there are different ways to do something and you achieve the same thing. Like it's not a one-way pass it all. Like there are different ways. So that kind of helped me. And then whenever I think in my 300 level, we had like a senior, it was in 500 at that time. And they said they wanted to collect certain amount of money, just you can change, and then you learn how to do some certain things. So I also joined any opportunity that I had to learn how to code and everything. I jump on it. Like I'm always doing it. And my final year project, like we had people paying. I don't know if they do it over there, but like some people pay people to develop their software solution for them, and then they write the whatever. I don't think it's a secret, Sha. My
No,
workplace
no,
is
no,
a
no, no. It
secret,
isn't.
but
It isn't at
okay.
all. We are just trying to evolve at this point in time to make sure that as supervisors we stem this whole attitude. So we are upping a bit of our game here. So the students are really getting frustrated because I mean by the time you come to present, the fundamentals would have exposed you because you just can't tell anything. So actually a tussle. Yeah, it's been a tussle for close to a year now with my project desk, my current project students. Everybody wants to run away from me, practical assistants, but we can't complain. So yeah, we are very much aware. I mean,
Oh, okay. So I kind of decided not to pay someone, but I was just lucky enough that I had some. So one of the person that took those courses that I studied, like all this side thing that they do in school. So he was doing his PhD at the time. So I was able to go and meet him, and then I told him this is my project, and he kind of gave me like some roadmap. He guided me on how to do it. So that kind of helped too. So, and like I said before, I was opportune to go for that. That competition actually changed my life because I got to see, like, there were lots of things that I've not seen before that I'm seeing people came to present on that day. And it was just mind blowing for me. And I'm like, I think this is a good, I think this is be a good thing for me to do. But even at still that point, I was just in my mind, all I wanted to do was finish my project, do my defense, and then go for NYSC. Well, I think during my NYSC, I started reading about, oh, it's possible, like you can actually be a coder, like be a software engineer or a backend or whatever it is. And then I started studying towards it. I did some data structures and algorithm. I solved some questions. There's this book that's coding, I've forgotten, coding something. It's a green book like that. I can't remember the name. Like I read that book from front to the back. The questions, if I don't know them, I go to the back because the solution was there. So I go to the back, I read about it. Then I go back again and then I type it on my laptop. I try to understand it because the major thing is like understanding it. And then if you understand it, then you can write it in your own. So that kind of also helped. And then later on, I applied for jobs. And then I didn't get, like, I applied for some jobs and then I'll be given some questions here and there, but they had I wanted to do a startup, so I started actually as a software engineer. And one thing I try to do is always learn, constant learning. Like even this year, I decided to learn Ruby and Python. Right, I'm halfway done. Like I have some small projects on GitHub, but like I have like I try to learn constantly because you also like have constant like improve yourself constantly. I read about I think last year I read about clean coding principle. Like those are the things that also helps you to be the best, to grow, to become a better software engineer. So there's the growth thing, and it's also good for you to have, maybe you have someone that you're looking up to, right? Like a mentor or so. And even if you've not spoken to the person, you see the person doing this thing, oh, I want to be that way. I like what this person is doing. So, and then with passion and with hard work, you will get there. I hope that answers your
Great.
question.
I definitely hope so, because I'm going to be biased once more and then pass on the microphone to Comfort. Comfort. Yes, guys, relax for me, please. Bear with me, okay? It's a very nice opportunity.
Hi.
Yes, Comfort. Catherine is listening to you.
Okay, so please. So initially when I started was right, I had this zeal for the course, but then I don't know, as we are progressing, I don't know if it's from my end or I don't know whether the teaching methods they are using, I'm not actually finding the course like the way I wanted it. I'm not finding it like that anymore. So I don't know if you can tell me if you experienced it along your along the way. So if you can just like say something or encourage me or something, I don't know.
Catherine, somebody's life is rest on your response to this particular question. So,
oh man, I'm on the hot seat here. Oh, okay. Yeah, I've experienced
yeah,
that.
she's got 2 more years to go, and whatever you say could make or make her, because she's already on the brink of throwing in the towel at this point, and it's just crossed. I'm just about to cross 2 years. So, what would you say, Catherine?
Put me on the hot seat now, and I don't know what to say because okay, so yes, I've actually experienced that. It won't be like for my course because I actually enjoy my course, but at a point when I was programming, I actually got tired of it. It wasn't really like before when I saw something, I'm excited, I want to go to another thing, but
Catherine, let me not cut you short, but at what point did you feel tired coding? Was your motivation from your lecturers at the beginning? I mean, how was it like? Were expectation met the way the course was presented to you? Were you motivated to carry on and push harder because of the way the course was presented? or you were sort of self-motivated, you knew what you wanted, so you were not really dependent on the lectures right from the onset? Because if I understand Comfort here, she has some expectations in the presentation of the course, but it looks like that expectation wasn't met and she's losing it, so the motivation is really not there. So how was it for you?
I think I understand now. So like you were expecting, like she was expecting like the lectures to be maybe interesting in a certain way, or for you to do certain thing in a certain way, and then you were not. Okay, so what else is like, I actually don't look at the lecturers too much during when I was schooling. I'm not expecting anything from them, honestly. Yes, maybe they'll give me the topic, or I was disappointed at some point. Like, for instance, you are meant to teach me how to code, and then you're giving me a manual, and then you say that, okay, go and read the manual and then figure things out on your. Or like, I was also self-motivated in terms of whatever, I'm going to learn this thing because I want to learn it. So it kind of helped me too, because if you're basing your expectation on what someone else is doing, I don't think I believe that is not a good thing. Like, if you have a motivation, you have a reason for picking this course, or you have a reason for saying that, okay, you want to do this certain thing. So irrespective of what you're getting from that person, that motivation is still there. You just need to find it again, and then you're on your way to doing what you want to do, or learning what you want to do. So my advice would be like, there was a reason why. I don't know if it's the course, or if it's the what you're studying, or this, but there's a reason why you decided to do this. But if that reason isn't, because there's some people that their reason for doing something could be because of their parents, because of peer pressure, or because of, I don't know, whatever it is. So if that's the case, then my advice would be like, you have to look inward to see what actually you're passionate about. I think um this era is going to a stage whereby if you have something you're passionate about, and you find a way to like know how to do that thing, you're going to make it. Like if you're passionate about it and you're focused and you're hardworking. So that's all I can say on the topic.
Is there any chance Comfort can be following you some way, somehow, LinkedIn, something? I feel she could draw a lot of inspiration from you. I feel like she can relate a bit, and she could use some uplifting, Um, I mean, the reason why I'm avoiding any utterances from my side in terms of advice is, I mean, they've been listening to us, they've been hearing us time and again, but some of us have a brute force approach to getting things done because of I guess, because of our upbringing, we had to find, like you rightly said, our own inspiration. I mean, my lecture was coding C++ on the board, and there was not a single demo once. I was telling them there was a course that appeared on my transcript. I don't recall ever being taught that course in the classroom, and so if it comes to networking, for example, I can't remember a single thing that was mentioned in class. But then again, I don't think they were my object of focus. The degree was just one step along the line. And so, some of us could find the inspiration from deep within, knowing what we wanted and pursuing it. And it's quite common with a number of them. But then clearly, like we always say, the fingers are all not of the same height. So sometimes the way the courses are presented to could be an inspiration to some people to meet the expectations, at least to spur them on, in my opinion. So I clearly understand her background. Like I was saying, we in this part of our world, the SHS, in my opinion, is too much fixated on getting good results in the WASI, which is a requirement to pursue the degree of your choice. Quite unfortunately, the approach has become more of, like you rightly said, we cram and we come and pour, And so when you walk in here, it's a whole different environment, being lectured and not being taught. They are two different things entirely. Yeah, so some lecturers may just give you, like you said, a manual, and then you expect you to get certain things down. They will just come and show you slides and move on, and they assume they've taught you. And so if you know that in itself can even kill your spirit. I saw that happen to several colleagues of mine back in SHS days. The teacher didn't even start from where he was supposed to in mathematics. Just put some algebra question at the top, and then he just solved it from the top to the bottom without explaining a single word, without saying a single thing. Then he turned and stared up to the faces of innocent students and said, "Look, if you don't understand anything I have done right here, you better leave the science class and go and join the arts class." And the next day, the class was shot by like a quarter of us remaining. So indeed, the way the manner some of these things are presented could be an inspiration to some people, and of course, equally be demoralizing to others, even yet, though they might have had a lot to give to society if they were encouraged. So I don't know, comfort could use some upliftment, some tagging along. I'm sure you share your LinkedIn link some way, somehow, and then she could message you from time to time, and when you can respond to her. Of course, any other person as well could also seize this opportunity. I hope there will be more questions coming, especially from the ladies. But at this point, let's address the three hands that are up as well. I'm sorry we are taking a lot of your time today, Catherine, but this part is also quite important to me, so that they can let it all out and appreciate exactly how all of these things play out from people who have passed through the same shoes as they are currently. So Thomas, you are first on the list. Your time has come.
Hello, Catherine.
Finally.
I was wondering, looking at your journey, especially the transition from university to the industry, did you ever encounter any fear? Like, yes, you have practiced this a dozen times, but what if you are put in a very tough spot where you might not be able to deliver, especially at Microsoft, where there are tight deadlines to be met? Did you ever encounter that? If so, how did you go about it?
Yeah, okay. Thank you for the question. Yes, fear is like is there. Like even this presentation that I did, you don't want to see me when like before I'm about to start the presentation. I was like, oh God, I'm scared. But yes, fear makes you want to like put in your best. That's what, because when you're not like when you're just laid back, you may not be at your optimal best. So fear also, yes, is something that I have. Yes, I have had it. Even when when I was going to before the recruit, like I said, a recruiter reached out to me on LinkedIn. And I think I've done I've gone through the process like twice. So you should know, like, I was at that point when he reached out to me, I told him, like, I can't do this. Like, I was afraid of failing again. And then it was like, what's the what's the thing that's going to happen? Either you get rejected or you get it. But don't let your fear hold you back from giving it a try. So I gave it a try. And that has also helped me. Like, yes, I'm afraid, but if I'm afraid and I don't do this thing, later on in the future, I may be like, I should have done it to what would have happened. So sometimes I have the fear, but I still want to do that thing. I don't know if that answers your question, but there's always fear. For me, I'm outgrowing it, but sometimes I'm scared. I'm scared to talk in the public. I'm scared to do a lot of things, but it's one stage at a time. I try to overcome that fear. I just put myself out there. It's putting yourself out there more. And like for instance now, before I don't even used to talk during meeting. I just keep quiet. If I have a question, I'll just go to the person that I have the question with, and I'll just type there this. But now, like, I've started like raising up my hand. Okay, I have this question, this and that. So it's progressive. Like it's a progress. It's in progress. A work in progress. So please don't let fear stop you. Yes, like just put
Thomas,
yourself
I
out there
hope
more.
I hope you are inspired. You're not going to harbor
Yes.
fear anymore. You all make it. I personally believe and trust in all of you. I have really high expectations of every single one of you. Forget about your numbers. It doesn't really provoke me at all. I see a global trend here, a generation of tech gurus who are going to fill every single space out there. So yeah, Abednego, you are up. John?
Yeah. Hello, sir. Can you hear me?
Yes, crystal clear.
Yeah. Please, Madam Catherine. My question. I have not asked any of our mentors this question, but I just kept to ask the last person. See, a couple of times I see people rejected by Microsoft. They apply. They are not even shortlisted for interview. Not talk of they not passing the code challenge. But what is it that Microsoft is looking for before shortlisting somebody? That's my first question. And the second question is it's also about like how to break their code challenge. Hello?
Yes, we can hear you. Are you done with your question?
Yes, I'm done with my questions.
Oh, okay.
So
Okay.
I'm going to start with the last one, which is the code challenge, right? So, like I said with the code challenge, like you have to keep practicing. Like I told you in one of this conversation that I had, like I used to practice lead code. Like I pick one question one every day. Like sometimes, like I may spend like 1 hour on the question and not get it. But I know that day I must get this question. So like you have to improve that your coding. Sorry, someone muted me. Okay, so like I was saying, for the first question, yeah, there's a coding challenge. That's the first thing you have to, for you to ace through. What you just need to do is keep practicing. Pick all this. There's some topics that they ask, the questions come from, string manipulation, array manipulation. Go to lead code or Akarank, solve lots of questions. You could start like once in a day, just keep solving it. And then you know that like if you see some of those questions, you'll be able to answer it. So that is what I did. That's what worked for me. Like lots of these people that will tell you that they got a job at international or whatever, they like, and if that international is looking towards solving algorithm questions, you have to just study it. It's only if you now want to do mago, which is that you go and look for someone that they will sit together, all of you are in a certain room, and they are trying to solve the question, you are googling it and all these things. But when you solve, like some of these questions are easy for you when you've practiced a lot. Practice makes perfect, right? And then you spoke about what you're laughing. Yeah, I know there are some people like that. They gather a bunch of friends together. Oh, I have a coding interview today. You guys, let's do this together. And then you start hacking around. Then you start looking at, oh, that question, this. Well, it depends on you, but me, I feel like practice makes perfect. Read about data structures and algorithm, and then like the question is important. It's not just reading how to do array, how to do dynamic programming. Solve this question. That is what helps. Solve it. Even if it's in a week, just one. If you don't have time, just 1 week. Just say that, okay, I want to solve a question that has to do with dynamic programming, or I want to solve a question about BFS, best breadth first search or depth first search. Do it.
Yeah.
Keep practicing. That's all you need. And then you go through that stage, and then you read about software architecture, software design, maybe how Facebook was designed, some of the flow and everything. So, and then you mentioned about what they are looking for. So if you have a company, right, and you want to employ people as a software to come and build your software for you, what do you think you'll be looking for? You'll be looking for someone that is competent, someone that is ready to go above board, someone that is ready to be committed to their work, to finish their tasks on time, that has integrity, that is dependable. Like, that's what they're looking for too. And someone that is good. It's not as if you have this quality now, you don't have a LinkedIn profile, you don't have any profile, you're just on your own. They will not talk to you. Like, LinkedIn is one of the places whereby you can push yourself. It's not as if some people would lie on their LinkedIn profile. I don't know about that one, but it's a place whereby you can put yourself out there, like do things, do some courses here and there. There's some 3 months courses, add it to your LinkedIn profile, grow your LinkedIn profile. You see people reach out to you, right? So, and then promote yourself in a positive light. That's all I say. And then start applying, have a good CV. There's basically every company is looking for basically the same thing, a staff that will come and they would help them to move their vision forward, like, and they will do their best, and that's what you just need to project.
Great.
And
I
you
hope
all know, you know what is required, the steps, you practice and practice.
practice and practice.
Because
There's
yeah,
no
and
end
like
to the
you
practice.
said, like people get rejected. Like, how many jobs I've applied to and like I've been rejected? I ever said, like, before I got into Microsoft, I've gone through the process like twice. I was rejected, and it's not like for instance now you would apply and then someone would say that, oh, they don't want you. This one, I studied for the algorithm test. I studied for the architecture test. Like, I was at the last stage twice. Do you understand how stressful that is? Like, it's even better for you to apply for a job and they said that, okay, we don't want you, other than you like putting in your best, spending like 1 month or 2 months practice and everything, and then someone will come like after and say that, okay, oh, you're not allowed, like, we're sorry, you know that they are male, we're sorry, and this, but you still keep on, you know what you're aiming for. So if you're looking for a fan company, you can still go to other lesser companies, try to gain more experience, and then you keep applying. Keep practicing, keep applying, and then with due diligence, you get what you.
Yeah. Excellent. Jerry, you have a question for Catherine?
Sir, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, so my question is, Miss Catherine, what would be your thoughts about a student whose choice on pursuing computer science was based on just one project that he or she thinks would be worth millions or billions?
The question to me is not quite clear. I don't know about Catherine.
Okay, let me make
Clear,
it.
boy,
It's like you are from SHS, you are coming to the university.
Okay.
But then you have one idea in your head
Yes.
that you want to do, like a project. And before you do that, you have to know programming and things. So just this one project inspires you to choose computer science. What are
And then
your
we come
thoughts?
and we are knocking you. And you come and we are knocking you left, right, center with maths and other things at
Oh,
the
no.
beginning.
That one, I don't have a problem with that. But then
Okay,
my problem
all
is what will be her thoughts? Like, is the student limiting himself, or it's a bad decision just to make that decision just on one idea or a project?
Okay. I think I understand this. We have students, we have encountering students who come and they say they want to be cybersecurity experts, ethical hackers. Somebody says, oh, me, I want to be a networking engineer. And that is why I enrolled in CS. What is your take on this?
Okay, so you have a roadmap, right? You want to do networking, or you want to be a cybersecurity, and they said you must learn programming. This is just me, a use case, right? So my own thoughts would be like, I don't like it. I will do it because I know my end goal. I know what and for me to get that end goal, this is like a blocker for me. So I'm not going to do it like someone that actually wants to be a programmer or anything like that, but I'm going to just learn it enough for me to pass and to be able to achieve what I want to achieve. Because sometimes like there are certain things that we do in this life, we don't want to do it. Or we know that without doing it, we can't get to where you're going to. So I would say is that yes, those cases they abound all the time, but you have an end goal. You always try to, even whatever you're facing, try to look at the end goal. This is my end goal. This is what I'm trying to achieve. And then you'll be able to overcome, even not overcome per se, like overcome a bit of whatever challenge you're facing at that point to reach that end goal. Because it's not as if you want to drop out or anything like that. You've started already. Why not work towards finishing? And hopefully, if you have the people around you, they would support you and help you to achieve that goal. I don't know if that answers the question, but that's my own thought. Because
Jerry.
Okay, the problem of it is that it's not that it's a career path, but then it's just one project. After the person is done, the person is done. So the person thinks that project after completion would guarantee him or her huge money that he can just stop working and stop doing anything else. That's my question. Is it a bad decision to make
Okay,
the
so
choice?
so what's the question? Is it that the person doesn't want to? So I'm trying to understand the question. Is it that the person, okay, you have the project. When you have that project and you've completed it, you're balling, right? What I mean balling
And then
is
yeah.
you don't need to. So what is the question? Is it that it doesn't want to do that thing? It wants to give it to somebody else, or what exactly?
Something like after completing that project, the person wants to sell it and just gain the huge sums. Like, because the person thinks maybe trying to like run it himself, buying servers will be costly. So by selling it, he gets some sums and then just stop doing whatever he wants and then just starts chilling and balling and things.
Doesn't know how much it's going to earn, because even if the service is what much more like what it's like is saying, well, I won't say that I should sell it at once, right? Because when it's growing much, like the value is going to keep increasing. So it depends on his own business model, right? There are some people that they have a software, they've sold it and they're balling, but at a point the money will finish. Then what will happen? So you have to have that. If you want to be a serial entrepreneur, it's a different thing. You do something, you sell it. Or if it's just that thing that he has and then he wants to do it and sell it, does he have a backup plan for when that money will expire? Or is it that he wants to start investing and ensuring that that money doesn't go down? Because money is like, it goes down, you spend, you keep spending. So it depends on him.
Yeah.
Okay.
Great. Thanks for sharing your thoughts on this, Catherine. Kunedu, Simon, I've skipped you because you've already spoken, but I'll give you the last chance after Kunedu so that we can wrap it for now. Kunedu, what's your question?
Okay, so please, I want to ask, how did her communication skills help her to gain the job at Microsoft?
My communication skill. Yeah, he helped. It's good to have soft skill, and communication is one of it. It's good. It's one of it. If there's a course that they say that you get to learn communication skill and soft skill, it's one of the course that you should take. It actually helps a lot, and also learning how to sell yourself in the right light. I'm not saying some people sell themselves and they're selling themselves in the negative light or something, but you have to be able to sell yourself. And to sell yourself, you have to have a good communication skill. It's not as if they're like accent or whatever like that, but have a good communication. It helps a lot in anything you're doing, honestly. It's not about getting a job or not. Every aspect of sphere of life, you need to have a good communication skill. Your marriage, your friends, your this, your that. Communication skills.
All right. Great. Simon, You have the last opportunity to ask a question, and then I guess the ladies, those who had critical questions, came through already. Yes. Simon, are you there? Or you mistakenly raised your hand? Okay, that is fine. Somebody actually also placed a question in the chat, and he was asking whether, and that's Mustafa, being a back-end developer, what are some of the evolving tools and technologies you use at Microsoft? He says he's really interested, and I'm really interested and work more on the server side too. Okay, so I don't know whether I get his question. What are some of the evolving tools and technologies you leverage on at Microsoft? He is more of a back-end guy, so the response will be much more useful to him if it relates to back-end tools and technologies at public
So when
level.
it says evolving tools, like, is it the tools that you use to build the application or to maintain it, or like there are lots
I
of
guess I wish
tools.
Mustafa, can you elaborate? Can you elaborate on your question? And whilst you do that, I think Simon's hand is up now. We could take his question. Simon, I lowered your hand and you raised it again. So kindly unmute and ask your question. Okay, you have unmuted. Yes.
All right, say. Sorry, my sister keep logging me out, so that's why.
Okay.
I have two questions, but and my first one is
So,
coding is perceived to be tedious in a way. So as a beginner, for how long would it be okay to spend on coding each day? And also, the second one is, Microsoft offers scholarship to university students in STEM education, and mostly it's around the US, Canada, and things. Is there any package for African university students? Thank you.
I guess the last question you asked, I don't know whether she will be in a position to provide a response to that. I wish Baba today was here or Sefumi was here.
Yeah, I think Mr. Mark can ask the question from Babatunde or Shifumi, and then they'll be able to get back. He will be able to get back to you about that. So yes, coding is still tedious, it's challenging, it takes time and everything. Now you're asking me, how many times should you put in a day? Yeah,
Like an hour a day.
Huh?
Yeah, like the number of hours to spend on coding a day.
I have my opinion on
So I
this
would say
question,
that,
though.
As a
it's a
beginner.
good question to ask, but me,
Yes.
there's no hour, like there's no amount of hour. I just
It's about the
find it that when I'm
project.
tired. Okay, so as a beginner, right?
Yes,
And
please.
it depends on how passionate you are about it. I know there are people that they will just say they'll spend 1 hour every day on it and it works for them, right? But when I was practicing this thing, I kind of use like a tax-based system. Like to do, maybe I'm building like a sample. I'm trying to look for a simple project. Calculator, right?
Calculator,
So,
yeah.
So let's say calculator. There's the UI, there's the back end of things. So I kind of say that, okay, today I must finish this certain thing. And I try as much as possible to finish it. Maybe I want to place the button on the screen and everything. But if I can't, I'll push it to tomorrow. But I know that I have a limit. Like in a week, I want to finish this thing. And two, it's not about the time you put, right? You may spend like all day on it and then you're still not like getting to where you want to go to. So it's not always about the time you spend whatever. It's about what you're learning from that time. It's about your path to learning. Because some people will tell you now that, okay, some people like video tutorial and then they go through, maybe every day they take one of their, maybe the tutorial has like lots of videos, like 10. every day they take one, finish it, write the code, write whatever code they learned about it, or use whatever it is they learned from the video tutorial to write a project or to write a particular module. So I can't tell you how much time as a beginner you should spend on coding. It depends on how you are learning and your aim, like your passion for it. Because some people now, you get to, maybe you coding, you wrote something, it's not working, you drop it. The next, maybe you remember next week that I'm writing a program, it's still not working. Why someone else will still keep looking through, checking how to make sure that thing works. So there's no time for it. It's just that you have to just know what you want to do and look for what works for you. That's the best thing to do. You can spend 1 day on it. You can spend 1 hour on it. You can spend 2 hours on it. You can spend all day on it. But see, someone will tell you like after 4 hours of spending on programming, like there's nothing, like that day you're done. Like there's nothing else you can do. Like there's some people like that. So it depends on you, honestly, and what you're trying to
Yeah,
achieve.
I think I equally agree with you on this one. It's usually tax-based. Sometimes you don't even realize the time has flown past. But if you're going to limit yourself to time, then there'll be very little to accomplish. So I mean, it depends on how inspired and motivated you probably maybe or are. So but as we have always emphasized, practice, practice, practice. Sometimes, I mean, if I intended to clear back in the day, if I wanted to just use C++ because that was the introductory program I fell in love with, not the Fortran and the basic we were forced to do and all. And I cleared the calculator in a couple of minutes or something, where then I moved on to the next one. If there was none, I find something else to code and put it there. And if it took me the whole day to get one done, or I had to pause and study other subjects, fine. But it was always task-based if I had a project to work on. And you have to just make that conscious effort to keep on practicing and practicing. If the inspiration is there, motivation is there, trust me, you'll be pushed to get this done. Yeah. So, Catherine, I mean, we can't thank you enough. In fact, you have climaxed it on not even on any other note that I could have imagined, but in an excellent fashion. Couldn't have had it in any other better way than you have done. This is the last teaching week per the academic calendar. Next week, they will be preparing for the exams. They will be wrapping up with their projects, works. Their clients will be providing me some updates. They will be creating videos to demo their solutions. They are hosting them live. They are working in teams in the software engineering class. Going through all the various phases. That is how I structured the course. And so, yeah, it's been exciting and thrilling to have mentors like you availing yourselves to volunteer to speak to them on these relevant topics and subjects. So obviously you realize that they want to know the end game of what exactly is going on, looking at the direction of most of the questions that have been coming. And I'm happy you have done due diligence and justice to it, even though you indicated it was your first time and you were wondering how you were going to do, how were you going to fail. But in my opinion, you've done a yeoman's job, and we are delighted about it. In fact, even though they have not even finished with the evaluation, I mean, on all the metrics, you are just right up. I look forward to, I mean, I hope Babatunde will reach out to you to have you join us, hopefully, in another session for the next batch, next year, next academic year. Usually, I don't mind having the same people coming again because over the period, turns out that next year would have marked your second or, more than 2 years with Microsoft. New projects would have come on board. You probably, Blessing, I don't know whether you came to meet Blessing in Microsoft. Did you meet her?
Yeah. We met. We did a project together.
Okay, so Blessing was a mentor last session, and I think she's moved on to them UK or something.
Yeah.
Yes. So yeah, so a lot of changes happened over the period, and so to be excited to share those new experiences in our next edition. And of course, at this point, you are pretty much aware of the kind of questions that could be coming, and you brace yourself and be prepared for them, of course. Yes, on behalf of my university, University of Ghana, on behalf of my head of department, who is pretty much aware of these sessions I've been having with my students in the computer science department, on my own behalf, and of course on behalf of my students, today quite a number of them were constrained in other interim assessment, but we actually total over 300. So just so you know, and that's why this session is recorded. Usually I upload it and make it an unlisted link so that I embed it on the learning management system for them to watch subsequently. So yeah, they will definitely get to catch up on everything that has transpired. I was hoping you could even share your LinkedIn link on the chat so that anybody who wanted to reach out, could gladly do so. Especially Comfort. Yes, Comfort. Comfort, feel free to indulge me if you need to. I'll be happy to hook you up to several others out there as well who could probably help inspire you in a similar fashion. Your success is paramount and important to all of us. So we are really, really indeed grateful for your time and the opportunity to engage with you. I can only wish you much more breakthroughs, more successes in your new role with Microsoft and probably beyond. Yes. So before we sign out, I would request that as many of you can turn on your cameras, why don't we do so? And then probably get a snapshot of everything that we are watching here. Everybody here, you smile to your camera, and then we save this shot. Those of you who may want to make posts on the LinkedIn, you can't miss this opportunity. It's the final one. And oh yes, I'm seeing you. Nice. How do you even make the display, turn out the way you, okay, large gallery. Oh yes. From the PC, you can enable the large gallery and then you get to see everybody. Okay, so do you have the, yes. Oh yes, I'm seeing everybody here. If it is, I don't know what's wrong with your camera. If your camera is not working, turn it off. Richard Apia, your camera too, I don't know. I think your microphone is muted. Catherine, if you were saying something. Yes. Okay, now I have a full screen. Great. So here we go. I'm capturing my side of things. Are you capturing it? Capture yourself as well. Great. So I'm just doing mine right now. I just want to make sure Catherine is part of my shot. And yes, she is. Please don't ask me to share my screen, my shot with you. Most of my students are fond of that. Yes, there we go. Right. So thank you very much for making it for this very last edition. I hope it has been very useful. Okay, she's shared a link. Okay, you can send her a private mail to a Gmail account. She shared it in the chat section. Make good use of it and then reach out to her. Comfort, I would want to know whether you've reached out to Catherine before close of day, if possible. Yes, I'll be happy to know. So on this note, thank you everyone. Thank you students. Thank you, Catherine. I wish everybody the very best of whatever lies ahead of you. And I hope to engage with you again some other time. Okay. So can we all give a wave or something? Yes. So this is where I ended it all. Thank you so much. I hope it's been a fruitful engagement for you, particularly students. Yes, these sessions have been useful. I hope so. But I'll be more delighted when the results start showing. Come and tell me you've landed internship with Microsoft, you landed internship with the fund, find out for opportunities. Please, even if it is a backroom software engineering job, you don't worry, you tell me. We'll figure a way out. We'll definitely move further on from there. It's only a matter of time, just a stepping stone. Please motivate yourself. I don't know how I can encourage you like I self-motivate. I'm self-motivated in this field. You have just no idea. Nobody can dampen my spirit because I know what I want. I know where to get it and I go get it. So come and get some tips. I don't know. I don't have tips. It's just in it to me. All right. So all the best, everyone. And once again, let's engage some